Close your eyes. Imagine a morning among the elite of ancient Rome. Marble villas, togas of blinding white, civilization at its peak. The kind of morning that makes you believe humanity had truly, finally, figured itself out. Now imagine a nobleman walking into his bathroom. He lifts the lid off a clay jar, sealed shut in the corner of the room for an entire week. He dips his finger into the foul, ammonia-sharp liquid inside, and he starts scrubbing it onto his teeth. That's right. Aged urine. Sounds like a filthy joke told by savages. It wasn't. The Roman Empire took this completely seriously. And here's the part that should really bother you. This disgusting trick actually worked better than any toothpaste of its era. Meet the man who couldn't stop smiling. His name, Egnatius. He grinned in courtrooms, while lawyers reduced entire juries to tears. He grinned at funerals, while mothers wept over their only sons. He grinned through trials serious enough to end a man's life. Nothing stopped the smile. Nothing. One Roman poet could not stand it. His name was Catullus, and he decided to expose Egnatius publicly, in verse. Not once. Twice. His accusation? Ignatius's blinding smile wasn't natural talent. It was a secret habit from home. Celtiberia, a Celtic corner of Spain. Back there, Catullus sneered. Every man rubbed his teeth each morning with his own piss. The whiter the smile, the more he'd had to drink. Most Romans, to be fair, used something else entirely. Crushed eggshell. Honey. A twig, worked gently along the gums by a household slave each morning. Expensive versions existed too. Imported herbs, powdered shell, even crushed precious stone for the truly wealthy. That was normal. That was expected. Ignatius wasn't most Romans. Was Catullus just being cruel, making it up for a laugh? No. Two other ancient writers, a geographer named Strabo, a historian named Diodorus Siculus, independently confirmed it. Iberian tribes really did this. Jars of aged urine, kept specifically for washing mouths and teeth. Strabo even named names, the Cantabrians. In the north, apparently took it especially seriously. Someone had to actually do this every single day. Collect it, store it, wait a week while the smell curdled from bad to unbearable, then use it anyway. That's commitment, or desperation. Possibly both. Three separate writers, same bizarre detail, writing in different genres for different audiences, decades or centuries apart. That's not coincidence. That's evidence. And there was a reason anyone bothered with something this disgusting in the first place. A white smile in Rome meant status, wealth, health. Rot and decay meant the opposite. Poverty, sickness, old age creeping in early. Whatever it took to land on the right side of that line, even a jar that smelled like a public latrine left in the sun was worth it. People have done far worse for far less. The joke didn't die with Catullus. It outlived him by 200 years. Picture a Roman courtroom. A writer named Apuleius stands accused of a serious crime, using black magic to seduce a wealthy widow into marriage. Losing meant exile. Possibly worse, his freedom, quite literally, is on the line. And what does he do? He reaches for the exact same insult Catullus used 2 centuries earlier. Compares his accuser to a Celtiberian. Then flexes his own, far more sophisticated tooth powder recipe instead, crushed onyx, imported spices from Arabia. The message, I am civilized. He is not. Mid-defense. Life on the line. And he still found room for a joke about Spanish piss. He won the case, by the way. The speech survives to this day. One of the only complete Roman courtroom defenses we still have. Here's what nobody in Rome seemed to notice, or maybe just refused to say out loud. An empire that called itself the most civilized place on earth kept mocking the exact same barbaric habit, generation after generation, in poems, in courtrooms, at dinner parties. Nobody ever stopped to ask if the joke actually made sense. Why would they? It always got a laugh. And in Rome, a good laugh was worth more than being right, because here's the twist that should embarrass every single person who ever laughed at that joke. Pliny the Elder wrote it down, not as a rumor, not as a foreign oddity, as medicine. His natural history was Rome's own encyclopedia, everything the empire knew about the human body in one place, and right there filed as a legitimate remedy, urine for whitening teeth and firming the gums, sitting on the same page as a recipe made from crushed mouse brain, filed with a completely straight face. Elsewhere in that same book, a toothache cure involving boiled frog broth. Suddenly, urine doesn't even sound like the strangest thing in the room. Read that again if you need to. It's true. This is a man later doctors would quote for centuries, as though his words settled the matter. If Pliny thought urine was nonsense, he had every opportunity to say so in detail, at length. He did that constantly. For other remedies he actually doubted. He didn't do that here. He just wrote it down. And it wasn't even a stretch for him. Roman doctors already obsessed over urine, studying its color, its clarity, hunting for clues about what was happening inside a patient's body. That habit would go on to shape Western medicine for the next 1,000 years. Using it on teeth? Barely a leap at all. So was the joke actually true? Did it really work? Yes, fresh urine does almost nothing, but leave it sitting, a day, maybe more, and bacteria already living inside it get to work. They break the urea down into ammonia, a real bleaching agent, a real degreaser, the exact same chemical cleaning your bathroom mirror tonight. Rome had no soap, not the kind you'd recognize. Nothing else lying around a Roman house came close to matching that power. Nobody could explain why it worked. They just knew that it did. Cause and effect, observed and repeated for centuries, with zero understanding of bacteria or chemistry at all. That's the part that should genuinely impress you, not disgust you. 2,000 years before anyone understood bacteria, before anyone had heard the word ammonia, ordinary people had already reverse-engineered a working chemical treatment through nothing but trial, error, and time. Dig up an actual Roman skeleton, and you'll rarely find a cavity. Sugar was too rare, too expensive, for that problem to exist. What you'll find instead, teeth ground flat, sometimes down to the root. Every loaf of bread came gritty with stone dust. Picture that, every single meal, quietly grinding your teeth down like sandpaper, bite after bite for an entire lifetime. There was no escaping it. Rich or poor, patrician or slave, the bread got everyone eventually. Cavities weren't the enemy. A dull, worn, yellowing smile was. And that, it turns out, is exactly the war Egnatius was winning. Put it all together, and the picture stops being a joke. A real problem, a diet that ground teeth into dust. A real solution, sitting, fermenting, in a jar in the corner. A real insult, reserved for anyone caught using that solution out loud. That's not an accident. That's not stupidity, and it was never really about hygiene alone. That's just what happens when vanity meets desperation, meets genuine, working chemistry. And nobody involved has any reason to admit the third part out loud. 2,000 years later, we still do the same thing. We mock what disgusts us in public and quietly keep whatever works in private. Rome just happened to write its version down. Rome held all three at once, mocked the barbarian, filed the remedy, never once connected the two. Egnatius presumably kept smiling through every funeral he ever attended. By that point, he'd earned it.